מיכל,
כן, כן, אני פה.
אני רק רוצה לראות שהכל אנחנו...
כן, הנה, אני רואה שהוא בסדר, עולה, אני מורידה.
כן, סורי, אני...
בסדר,
אמרנו שאני לא...
אוקיי, הכל
מתאבד.
טוב, הכל טוב.
בסדר, יש לנו עוד 5 דקות. מיכל, את רוצה שאני אעשה אותך הוסט?
זה לא משנה, זה לא... אם אני יכולה רק לעשות השאר, אז עשיתי זה בסדר.
אוקיי. לא, רק מבחינת הלהשתיק וזה. בסדר, אני אהיה פה.
בוקר טוב,
בוקר טוב,
אהלן,
מה נשמע?
אני...
תודה.
רבית, עשיתי אותך co-host, אם תוכלי גם להשתיק, להשתלט.
אוקיי,
אני גם פה.
סבבה.
אני אתחיל להכניס, אני רואה ש...
כן, כן, בסדר, הנה, זהו, 11:30.
יש לנו עוד דקה.
It's 1 hour, 11:30 to 12:30.
Yes, yes, we're gonna be here
Yeah.
for an hour.
היי מעיין, בוקר טוב.
Okay.
היי דבורה, מה שלומך?
Okay.
בסדר,
Yeah.
כולנו, שנגיד משהו בהתחלה על אם יהיה במקרה הזעקה.
כן.
Are you gonna start
Okay.
מעיין? You'll
In a
introduce?
bowl.
כן, מה להגיד?
Gravy. Okay.
רק הקדמה
Okay.
של כמה דקות את תגיד, ולהגיד
Okay.
את העניין של אם יש אזעקה.
Your kala is in a freezer,
אני... רגע, אני משתיקה את כולם, אז תוציאו את עצמכם.
frozen.
היי, בוקר טוב everyone, good morning. Thank you for joining us. We still have people in the
Good
waiting room, so
morning.
we'll give it a few minutes.
We have a few co-hosts, just in case somebody has to go down.
Yeah, me and Ravita hosting.
יופי.
Do you want...
Maybe Michal too? Couldn't
Michal,
be.
I'll make you a host again also.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Okay. I see people are still joining, so maybe we'll give it one more minute. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
We'll start in a few minutes.
Okay.
If in the
Morning.
meanwhile, if you can open your camera, it would be nicer to see your faces rather than just a black window.
Morning. Thank you for this meeting.
Good morning.
רבי, תודה שהצטרפת.
בכיף, בטח.
Okay, so I'll keep entering people, I think. Okay, so those who are here, thank you, welcome. It's become a sort of a tradition that while we have conflicts or intense days and security-wise, we'll meet here for have some safe space to share, to have a dialogue, and we have our friends Michal and Vora from Live Store that are happily joining us every time to give us tools how to handle stress and anxiety. So we thank them from the bottom of our heart. So my name is Maayan, and I'm from Matav, and we also have Ravit here. It was important for us to have this gathering, just to check in, to make sure you have all the information, and if you have question, if you have something that worries you, you have a place to share it and to ask and maybe get some information. And also, I think the most important thing is for us to say thank you and to tell you how much we appreciate your hard work and your dedication. In this stressful time, you still manage to look after our elderly and your patients, and it's not taken for granted. And we want to thank you and tell you that we are here for you. So we're gonna have an hour session. We want to say that if during this session you hear an alarm or איך אומרים, התראה,
A warning.
a warning, we'll pause. The most important thing is for you guys to find somewhere to a shelter or safe place, and we'll come back afterwards. So please keep that in mind. The most important thing is for you to be safe, and we'll come back afterwards. So we have Dvora here to lead the session, and we have Ravit here for any question that you have about your job, your daily work, about Matav, if you have anything so we're also here to answer those questions. So I'll give you, Dvora, the lead, and we're here. So enjoy, and hopefully we'll have some peace and quiet for the next hour or so.
Thank you, Mayan. I also want to say that Michal Manasseh is also here with me from Life Store. Michal will, and also Michal and Mayan and Ravid will also be looking at the chat. I'm just noticing that over 91 people are now signed on. So as much as we want to hear every one of your voices, I think it will probably work out best if you have any questions to write on the chat. Because all along this 1 hour, we want you to feel that you can ask questions or make comments. But with 1 hour, I don't think we'll have a chance to hear your 91 voices. So I apologize for that. But I know that in Matav, there are many opportunities for you to get support. And hopefully between the team of Matav and the team of Life Store, Gisha, לחיים, we will be able to, if not during this session, respond to some of the questions you have as a follow-up also. So who are we? First of all, we are here today because of this new outbreak of the war. And I want to also echo what you've heard about the appreciation that all of Israeli society has for the jobs that you do. I've said this many times in many forums and big lectures and in small groups. I believe that you are the backbone of our coping as a society. You are supporting individuals that would have no other support system and their families, as you know. And for that reason, I applaud Matav for caring as much and giving you the ability to feel that you're not alone in this, because you're not alone in this, but you have to feel that you're not alone also. And so today, what we're hoping to do is give you some specific tools. Some of them you probably have learned before. Unfortunately, in the past 3 years, we've been through a lot of these opportunities. Unfortunately, we've needed to be in these opportunities. Gladly, we're doing it and giving you tools. And that's why we're here today. And who we are, just to tell you, we're not strangers. Matav and Life Store have been working together for almost since we started in 2004, really about 2008, I think was the first time we ever did work with Matav. And we are an organization that's committed to helping people like you find meaning in your work. I know that many of you are driven for service, to do good, and it is felt. But it's hard work. And so we all need hope. We all need tools for resilience. This is a safe space. There's no judgment. We are all trying our best, but we are all of us struggling through what is a very challenging time. And our hope is by the end of this session, you'll have a little bit more of something in your toolkit to be able to wake up in the morning and feel that you have a tool for well-being for yourself primarily, and also to share with the people that you are supporting, the families and your employers that you're working with. So first and foremost, this is for you today. And I really want to emphasize that. If you're not healthy and well, the system doesn't work, and we really understand that. So you'll see there's some very simple tools that you'll learn, but I hope that you'll use them. So we're going to start by just taking an opportunity to feel where we are right now, to feel where we feel our bodies and how we experience our minds. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or just look. You can even look at this beautiful image on the screen to be centered and focused, whatever feels comfortable, and to concentrate on your breathing, to concentrate on how your breath enters your body and how it leaves your body. Do not try to change your breathing. Just notice how it is entering and exiting through your mouth and your nose. If there are any thoughts in your mind, try to let them go for now. Try to be here and now. Feel your body in the chair that you're sitting in. Feel your feet on the ground if you can. And as you're breathing, if you want to place one hand on your chest and feel your breathing as it enters your lungs. And take the other hand and put it on your forehead. And feel your head and let it rest in your forehead. As you're breathing. Notice your body. If it feels tight, allow the breath to go into that space in your body. And now I'm going to ask you to take the hand that was on your chest and put it behind your head. And you're cradling your head. You're holding your head between the two hands now, one on your forehead and one on the base of your skull, where you feel those two bones sticking out on the bottom of your skull. Imagine it's like a ball and you're just holding it and even maybe rocking it a little bit if that feels comfortable for you. A lot of the stress we feel is into our neck and our shoulders. So as you're breathing, imagine that you're holding your head in a way that gives some relief to your neck and some relief to your shoulders as you're breathing.
בוקר טוב.
Good morning. You're
Good
supporting your
morning.
head. You're supporting your
יכולה
head.
לדבר בעברית?
I think this workshop is
For my Sharika, for Sharika.
Michal, is it in English, right?
But I sent for my name, Rinat Awadala.
Okay. So we're concentrating on our breathing again, and we're feeling our bodies, and we're just rocking them back and forth. And now I'm going to ask you to take the hand that was on your forehead and put it straight up in the air and cross it over to be under your arm, under your armpit, right in your armpit. And take the other hand and cross it over. You're giving yourself a hug right now. Press your hands deeply into your chest and hug and breathe. This is an exercise that you can do anytime. Feel how you're hugging and breathing. Feel how your body is here and now. And slowly, slowly, slowly take both hands up in the air and put your palms together. Bring them down into Namaste, onto your chest. Open your palms and open your eyes and come back to me to hear it now. Okay, so
Good
this
morning.
was good morning to everybody. So this is an opportunity for you to check in with yourself now. We just did something very simple. And if you think about a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel the tension is right now? You can just think about that to yourself. You can write it in the group, on the chat if you want. Or you don't have to if you don't want to, but think for yourself about where you feel the tension. We are living in a very tense time. There's a lot going on. We're here together to be able to hold that tension, and that's okay wherever you are on the scale. That's where we're here now. Okay? You feel it in the shoulders, yeah. So if you can give it a number, if you imagine 0 being no tension and 10 being a lot, think in your mind about where that sits on a number, like you're taking your temperature on that. Okay? Just to know where we are right now. If you would have asked me at 2 in the morning when my phone went off, I was like 9. I was in a very deep sleep, and I got that notice to be ready. I wasn't even going to the shelter at that point, just be ready. And I was in a 9. And then by the time I settled down, I was probably like at 3 or 4. I did some of these breathing exercises, and I was able to get myself situated. But when I was jolted out of my sleep, really, I was at the top. Yeah, 0 to 1, that's great, Shani. So, okay, the next slide.
Yeah.
Okay, so in our life, we have a lot of challenges, a lot of challenges. As human beings living in the world, we have a lot of challenges. I see somebody saying 8. Okay, so it's a whole range of where we are, right? All the challenges that we hold and we face, tension number 10. All those challenges create tension, right? They create this feeling of stress, burden, fear. All of it gets us to these high tense places. But let's think for a moment about some of the challenges specifically to you as people who are doing what you're doing. Some of you are far from your families. Let's think about what are the challenges that you have and what's hard for you now in this moment, in this week or so that we find ourselves. Okay? So again, I'm inviting you to use the chat. and to share with us. I mean, Michal, I think it's just too hard if people talk, right? I would love to hear your voice.
Yeah.
We'll use the chat. So
Chat.
for the 132 people here, I want people to know that we want to hear from you. What is hard? What is hard? And it could be anything. Just throw out a word. What is hard about now? What is hard about yesterday and the day before? Could be your work.
Can I speak, ma'am? Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Well, every day is getting harder because I'm about to go for vacation on March 16 and the war has started. Why? It makes me more stress. It gives me more stress. That's why. That's the reason.
Maricel, you're saying something very important. There's a couple of things in what you're saying that I want to break out from that because I think a lot of us would feel this way. One is we don't know. There's an uncertainty. We don't know what's going to be tomorrow, the next day, or the middle of March. We don't know. So that's very, very hard. The uncertainty is probably one of the hardest parts of our situation. The second thing is you want a vacation. You need time off. You know that's good for you. And you don't know if you'll have that. And that's a second level. That's another piece is what's hard is giving ourselves the opportunity to take care of ourselves in ways that we know are important and feeling like maybe that won't happen. So those two components, that one thing has two different components that are very, very universal. We all want to take care of ourselves. We all know that vacations are helpful to do the work that we do. We need to take care of ourselves. And here we live in this place where we don't know from day to day. Will there be airplanes? Will there be flights? What will happen? So I feel for you. I really feel for you. And we're going to try to see how we can handle that. Okay? What else is hard? What else is hard? What's something that in your day-to-day you feel is hard? So employer in a wheelchair and there's no mamad. I didn't get to read the rest. Michal, can you read that?
Mamad is in the son's house, but taking her to the son's house is not easy. Leaving her alone, not happy to me. What to do? מטב, זה באמת גם משהו שאתם צריכים להבהיר. It really is very difficult when there's a siren and you don't know what to do because there's someone that you need to take care of and you can't get to the mamad in time with them. That's very important for Matav to also explain from their point of view. מעיין?
מעיין, את רוצה שאני אענה להם?
כן.
תעני,
Okay.
יש לי אותה.
Okay, so this is a question that comes up a lot, and I wanted to be very clear. It doesn't benefit anyone if you will get hurt. According to the safety protocol, when a siren sounds, you must go with your patient to the safest place. But if he doesn't want to come with you, or you won't able to do it because he's with a wheelchair or in the bed, so you have to protect yourself and go to the mamad or the shelter. Okay?
Thank you for that.
I'll add to that. It's important for you to know in advance where is your safe space. If you have a shelter in your building or across the street, you need to know where it is. And if you, as Ravit said, if you can't take your patient with you, you must put him or her in the safest room, somewhere within between two walls, not next to a window. But if you have like a intern room, put your patient over there and go and protect yourself. So we have the 10 minutes alarm, which is should be enough time for you to manage to put your patient somewhere safe and go and protect yourself. But as Ravit said, the most important thing is for you to be protected and be safe. And we encourage you to know in advance where do you need to go and plan how you go there in the fastest way with your patient or without him.
I want to add something important. I want to empathize. You must never leave a patient in the shower or in the bedroom or any place where they might fall or get injured. Okay, however, if the patient refuses to move to a protected place, you must protect yourself. Okay?
Thank you, Maya. Those are important pragmatic decisions. And if any of us have ever been on an airplane, and I know all of you have been because you came from other places mostly, the first thing we do is put the oxygen mask on ourselves before we put it on somebody else. It's a basic rule of safety. And I know that it creates a conflict. I know it creates dissonance. I know it creates a situation where you feel you're balancing, but you've heard this now, and this is a universal policy in all of healthcare, probably in the world, that this is how we have to behave, even though I know that it is very, very difficult, okay? But you need to have the confidence to know that you're doing the right thing, because you are doing the right stuff, given those different parameters, given the things that you just heard about how to leave a person safe and what you do, okay? So it's very difficult. I also saw somebody wrote that there's not sleeping. And I think that this is a very important thing that we want to validate, that you need to try to get rest. And I know that sounds ridiculous when there are sirens going all night long and warnings that don't even mean you need to go, but it wakes you up. As much as you can, you need to try to find your way to sleep. And if you cannot sleep, and I know that sometimes that's just the reality, that you keep getting interrupted, at least to do quieting meditative exercises, a little bit like what we just did. So even if you cannot sleep, which you need to sleep, and we want to encourage that you try to find even short naps, it's very important to just close your eyes. If your patient is sitting and resting, you don't have to go to sleep necessarily, but close your eyes and try to calm your body and try to lower the stress, like the exercise we did, or in any other way, to try to listen to music. Our bodies are on high alert right now, and so it disturbs our sleep patterns. Our brain is affected by the high alert, and it's very hard to calm down. And yet we need to calm down because what we need to do. So even if we're not sleeping, finding ways to calm our brain is a helpful exercise. It's not as good as sleeping, but it's better than nothing. Okay? So we're gonna move forward because there's a lot of things that are hard. But I want you to all recognize that we understand that there are lots of challenges. It's not one, there are many. People talk, and this group is no different than so many, where people feel helpless. People feel sad. We feel sad that we're in this situation. We feel a sense of loss of our freedom, that we can't walk around, that we can't see our friends, that we can't be the same way in our community. If we can't go to church or go to services because of the limitations, this is very, very difficult. There's another aspect of the fear. I'm seeing all the chats, and I appreciate that you're writing them. We're going to pay attention to those as much as we can. So feel free to keep writing in the chat, even if I don't answer, okay? There's obviously fear, that's clear. We can feel very angry that this is happening. Why are we in a world that people are at war? There's a very, very deep existential question. How could this be? And it makes us feel very angry. Being far from family, it's critical. It's so hard, and it's always hard, and you do a tremendous sacrifice by being here. So it's very important that we acknowledge how hard that is, and being in touch with your family and helping them understand that you're okay is hard. I understand that. So we're here to support that. We really are. It's hard, and yet finding people around here that support you and your friends and your colleagues are very important. A lot of people feel physical symptoms right now because of the stress, okay? They feel headaches, they feel pain. When you're not sleeping, your body is tired. You could feel fatigue. You could feel a loss of appetite or an increase in appetite. Stress affects everybody differently. All of these are normal reactions to an abnormal situation. I want to say very clearly, this is not a normal situation we're in. These are normal responses that our body is wired to do in some way to protect us, to make us aware that we're in a stressful situation. We might have a headache, and then we say, my body is telling me that I need to take care of myself. So even though it's happening, we don't ignore it. We say, this is a message I'm getting from my body. We have sensors in our entire body. In your fingers, you have sensors, right? If you touch something hot and you feel it, you pull your hand away and you know that you're not supposed to touch it again. We have this all in our sensory system about giving us messages when we're in danger. And then the question is, how do we handle those messages so that they don't overload us, but they help us stay safe? That's what we're going to do a little bit more of now. So all of these things, feeling like you want to cry, trouble breathing, these are all normal responses to a difficult situation. Next slide. So most important before anything, and this is what we said, and Mayan started this way, is we need a safe space. We need a safe space emotionally and physically. We talk about going to the miklat, the mamad, the safe room. Emotionally, we also need to create a safe space. And you can't see that. You know, you can see a room. That's clear. But when you don't see safety emotionally, it's much harder. How do we stay safe emotionally? That's today. It's in the safe physical space, we want to stay emotionally safe also. Well-being, calm, those are all things that you don't see, but they're extremely, extremely important. And there's ways to maintain those even in the most difficult of situations. Okay, so first we're going to talk about some emotional first aid. You know, somebody cuts themselves, we put a bandage and we try to stop the bleeding. That's the first level. And then we want to talk about things that will help us more in the long term. So they're both important and they're both easy to learn. That's the good thing. They're not, like, you don't have to take a 20-week course to learn this. By the time we end today, you'll know these strategies. They'll be familiar to you. You'll be able to use them. And you will know also that when you're in this situation where you feel that you can't do anything to change the situation outside, that you can do something to hold and keep safe emotionally inside. And that will affect how you experience every day, every minute, every hour as we go forward. Okay? So we're going to learn 3 what we call emotional first aid situations that you can do, that you can practice, that are very easy to learn. We're going to learn 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do them together. We did something similar at the beginning. These are a little different, but we're going to do them together. Okay? I'm going to ask you to keep your eyes open so you can read this, but then if you want to close it periodically, close your eyes, it's good to do it with your eyes closed. It really is better. But for now, I think it's helpful to read what we're doing and to see what I'm doing also. So try to keep your eyes open, at least at the beginning, okay? So these are things that you can do once you get to a safe place physically, once your patient is secure. You want to then think about, how do we create emotional safety? And I encourage for you to do this. And if it's possible, to do it with the people you're with also. A lot of times people who especially are confused, if they have some dementia, then it's very important that they can also do this with you. And actually, I find I do it with other people. It helps me. When I was in the safe room on Saturday, I had my grandchildren there, and I actually did what we're going to do now with my grandchildren. They're very young, and they were able to do this very easily. Okay? So the first one is the butterfly tap. You're going to cross your arms like we did before, but you're not going to hug. This time, you're just going to place them on your upper arms. You can see me on my upper arms here. Okay? You're going to put them over here. Okay? And you're going to tap alternately. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it with me. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay? Take a deep breath. And again. And a third deep breath. Now, in a real situation, I would have you do this more than once, 2 or 3 times. I like to count very quietly to myself. If I'm doing it with somebody else, I'll count out loud to know that I'm really focusing on the tapping and the numbers. Okay, and I'll explain why all of these are helpful in a minute. Okay, So that's the first one. We call that the butterfly tap, and you can see why. It's like the butterfly wings, tapping 25 times, taking 3 breaths, repeating it 2 or 3 times even. Notice your breathing when you're doing it. Okay. The second one is basic grounding. You're going to put your feet on the ground. So if you're sitting in a place where you can do that, it's really important. And you're feeling the foot on the ground. You're feeling your feet resting on the ground. Now, when this happens, well, sometimes when the siren is going off, we get very distracted and we get overwhelmed. While the siren is going off, especially while we're sitting in the safe room, sometimes we feel this way. Again, this is after we found ourselves in a physically safe place. We're now in a physically safe place and we're doing the emotional safety, okay? So when you place your feet firmly on the ground, you're going to feel the ground and you're going to look around the room where you're in and you're going to count 10 different objects, okay, of the same color. So I'm sitting here, I have in front of me, I have a red, I'm looking at red things. I have red on the screen. I have red on a painting on my wall. I have red in a bag that's next to me. There's red in the corner here in a pen. I'm counting, I'm looking for about 10 objects of the same color, and I'm focusing on that. So imagine my mind now has moved away from being a little bit focused on stress and pain and nervousness, and now I'm focusing on the same color object. Okay? Now, another thing you can do is focus on 10 things of a different shape or the same shape. I'm looking for squares, or I'm looking for a square and a circle and a triangle. I like the color. I think the color is the easiest because you don't have to think too hard. Okay? And you're doing that, and you can do that for as long as you want. You can keep repeating it. And again, you can do this with your patient. You can say, let's look together for all the blue things in the room while you're holding your feet to the ground. And the third thing is very similar to what we did before, which is putting your hand on your chest, another hand on your stomach. And this is when you pay attention to your breath and you deeply breathe and you feel the breath in your chest and you feel it going down into your belly. And you pay attention to that breath. And that you can do for a few minutes to try to keep breathing and breathing. A lot of times when we're under stress, we forget to breathe, which is kind of a little confusing because we don't think about breathing all the time, which happens naturally. But when we're stressed, we don't breathe as well. We breathe more shallow. We don't breathe deep. So we want to remind our body to breathe deep. And when we feel it in our chest and we feel it in our belly, it helps our body do that. Now, all these 3 components, just to explain, are things that remind our body to do what our body does naturally. Our body breathes naturally. We can look around naturally and take in our environment. When we're in a flight or fright mode, when we're in a tense mode because the siren is going off or something else is stressful, we have to remind our body to do what our body does naturally. We're helping our body regain its normal function. We're helping our cells get emotionally, physically, and with our breathing regulated so that we calm the nervous system. That's what we're doing. We're calming our nervous system. And we can do this anytime throughout the day, anytime we feel stressed, and especially when we feel like we're mostly stressed. So some of you who said 7, 8, 10 on the stress scale, this is the time to do these things and to continue to do these things. And by the way, they're all good. So whichever one you like. Okay? So when you do these regulating activities, you can do, what we just said, or you can use your different sensory system. You can think about 5 things I see, 4 things I hear, 3 things I feel and touch, 2 things that you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. Michal, it would be good if we maybe send those couple of slides. We'll send them to the Matav, and you can have these slides. And if you can print it or keep it on your phone, you can open this up and you can look at it. Okay? These are all things that help us focus and help us calm and help us remind our body to do what our body needs to do so that we stay healthy as much as possible during this process. Okay? Okay, now all of us are people with very full lives. You have lots of things going on. In addition to your work, you have a lot of things going on in your life. And every person is a world. Every person is your own world. So each of you have values, and each of you have roles in your life. And why am I saying this? Because for us to wake up every day and do the hard work that you are doing, for you to wake up every day and do the hard work that you're doing, this can't be just a job that you check the box. This isn't, you're working as a human being with another human being. Many of you who take these jobs are driven by a sense of service and a sense of commitment. And you could only do this if you really believed that what you're doing was important. I know that because it's such hard work that in some place it takes so much out of your heart that I know that even if you don't feel it every minute of the day, you're driven because you believe that this is a good job to do. This is important that you're doing this and knowing that you're helping a person. So let's take a moment and think about a value, one or two values that I have, that you have, that bring you to this place, that allow you to do this work. It could be a reason why you decided to do this work, or it could be something that comes out of your work. You know, I'm a therapist, so I feel that in this war, I feel very fortunate that I can sit with people and hear their struggles and help them. I don't always help them. I try. I don't always say I can, but it helps me know that when I wake up, I have something to do. So in your work, if you want to share in the chat, that's good. About what are some of the roles? What are the values that you have and the roles that you have as a care provider, as a family member, as a member of your religious faith community? What are some of the values and the roles that you have? Could be that you believe in a higher power. It could believe that you believe in community. Could be that you believe in helping people. Allow yourself to think about it. What's a value that helps you when you get up every day to think about, makes the day worth living? Hopefully you have some of these in your mind right now. It can be very personal, so it's fine if you don't share it, but I want you to understand that every one of us, I have a family waiting for you, helping others. Beautiful. Those are beautiful values. And I'm sure that gives you a sense of purpose, that you can help somebody. I see that from Suji. Okay. Others. So when we have a value and we know that when we choose to do something or we find ourselves doing something in our life and it connects with our values, it helps us be anchored. We're not floating in space. We're human beings. We have hearts, we have souls. And when we think about what we do every day and it ties back to what we believe to be right, to be true, listening patiently to the elderly, beautiful, beautiful, Sindhu says. So when we can do those things, it nurtures us. And it's okay to say that, you know. Sometimes people have a hard time saying what you get from your job. I believe it's so important to understand, what do you get? What nurtures you from the work you do? Because that helps you do the job you do. And if you can recognize that a value that you have, like caring for somebody, like listening to an elderly person, that's a value, then that's different than something that one just simply does because somebody told them to. That's very, very different. So connecting to our sense of purpose and connecting to our value helps nourish us, helps keep us strong. The value of respect and trust for both sides. So important. Changing my mind is a strength, not a weakness. I appreciate, Cinta, that you said that, because we are in a struggling situation and we need to be flexible. We need to be thinking creatively. And that means sometimes shifting a mindset. Sometimes we can say, I wanted to do this, and now because of a situation, I need to change what I do. There's no sin in that. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It means that we're responding to real situations in real time. And that's an important element. You keep hearing the word, I'm sure, about this word resilience. Resilience is a word that means when it's like a rubber band, when I can move and stretch and change according to a situation. So you need to be able to change your mind and not be stuck in a place where you thought of something maybe that was 2-3 months ago and now. To love your job, most people would be very happy to love their job, and I hope you do. To make sure that your patients are in a safe spot in the house and that you're doing the right thing, which is hard, as we heard. It's complicated. So you want to feel that you're driven by trying to do the best you can. Okay, so we believe that one of all of these words about purpose and meaning and values, we believe, and we know this because we've been studying this for over close to 15 years now, that will give you a sense of hope. Now, I'm sure if I asked any of you, honesty is a very important value. If I would ask any of you, is hope good? I'm sure you would say yes. I'm sure you would say yes, because who wouldn't want hope? But hope is complicated because, as we see from this quote from a very big philosopher, hope is sometimes mixed with fear. Okay? And sometimes, as he says, there is no hope unmingled with fear, and there's no fear unmingled with hope. And I say that because we are now in a situation where there's a lot of fear and a lot of stress, as we said. And we know from our work, and you probably know from your life, that sometimes from those dark and scary places, that's where hope grows. Very ironically, in a way, that and when things are good, we don't look for hope. Things are good, but when things are hard, when things are scary, that's where we need hope, and that's where we need to find it. And in a very powerful way, that's where it grows, probably most powerfully. So we're going to talk now for the rest of the time about how do you build hope? And luckily for you and for us, there's a model that was developed by Professor Snyder. Can you go back to the slide? This was a researcher in America about 30 years ago, and he spent a lot of time studying and researching how human beings are hopeful. And we've met a lot of the people that studied with Professor Snyder, and we work with Professor Snyder's model now for over a decade. And it's so simple to know how to build hope that you're going to be so glad, because it's such an easy model. You've even said some of these things in your talking up until now in the chat. So the first important part of the hope model is to know that you have a goal. Now, we just a moment talked about values, right? You wrote very beautiful things about values. So if you, for instance, believe that listening to both sides is important, then you can choose a goal. What would the goal be? And for each of you now, I want you to think. By the way, we do this workshop sometimes over a longer time. So we're just giving you this tool now, but we can think about having a deeper workshop at another point if this is interesting. But you'll be able to think about this very clearly. What is a goal that you have in your mind that ties into the value that you have? So it could be anything related to the values that you said. One goal that you have in your mind. And when you think about this goal, think about it from two standpoints. One, that it's something you can do, you can achieve it, it's possible, it's not a dream, it's not a fantasy, it's something you can do. Maybe your goal is to spend time taking care of yourself by reading once a day. Or maybe your goal is to be more in touch with your family, even though it's hard because you're in the middle of such a hard time working. Or maybe your goal is to set limits on the work that you do and express that. So like somebody said, being flexible, to say, I can do this, but I can't do that. I want to take care of myself by setting some limits. Whatever the goal is, it's your goal. It's very personal. It needs to be meaningful to you, and it needs to be something that can actually happen. If it's not possible, like winning the lottery, you may or may not do it, not a good goal. The second part of the Snyder model, and I'm doing this quickly, but I want you to think about it with me, is pathways. In other words, what is a way that you can fulfill that goal? What are steps, small steps that you can take that you can fulfill your goal. Somebody wrote to buy something that I like and need. So if you said, I want to take care of myself and be better, then you might take a pathway and say, you know what, I want to find a way to buy something that I like or that I need. So if it's maybe a certain kind of food that you like to eat or a certain kind of piece of clothing, to go and take care of yourself by treating yourself to something that you like or you need. That was a great pathway. Okay. But as we know, sometimes in life it's difficult. Like for this pathway, maybe the store isn't open and maybe you don't know how to get that object. So that's important too. So in Snyder's model, he wants us to think about pathways to reach our goal, but he also wants us to think about what makes it hard. What are the obstacles? So here in that one, I'm giving you an example. The store's closed. How do I get that object I need? If I wanted to set reading, maybe I don't have time. Maybe my schedule's too busy. Talking with somebody who needs you and needs them. Great. Maybe my phone isn't working. Maybe my phone isn't charged, or maybe I can't reach them. So we want to figure out in those pathways how we identify those obstacles, what might get in the way, and then think about some solutions. So with the idea of going to the store, maybe somebody can get you what you need, or maybe you can get something different that you don't have to buy from the store. Maybe a neighbor can help you. The idea of the goals and pathways, it gives us a sense of what we can do. We can't control the missiles. We can't create a mamad when it doesn't exist. To witness my kid's accomplishment is a beautiful goal. And so how can you do that from far? And how can you be engaged with your family from far? That's a beautiful goal. And then you think about pathways to do it. Writing letters, sending emails, sending texts, being engaged in their lives so you can see their accomplishments. And that gives us tremendous meaning, right? So the pathways we want to be really strong about making sure that we can continually look at what is something we can do to make that goal happen. And it's hard work. Sometimes we have to keep being creative. All of this leads us into a sense of agency. That's a big word. It's a word from the psychological literature, but it's something that you know. It's the feeling that I can do something. It's a sense of motivation in our lives. When we feel agency, we feel like we can do something, we feel effective, we feel we can impact. So this drive of agency is very, very important. It's the motor that helps us do goals and pathways. Why are we doing all this? Okay. To help self-discipline, to maintain a healthy body is a fantastic goal. And as we know, when we feel physically healthy, we feel stronger, we feel a sense of agency. If you do exercises and you know you can do that exercise every day, how good do you feel that you've been able to do it? And maybe it was hard because you had to find a space and you had to figure out how. But once you do, it builds on itself. A lot of times we get agency from our faith and our belief system, from our friends, from nature. The background is talking. That's why you go to the gym every day. Thank you, whoever wrote that. So it reinforces the sense of agency, the feeling that I can do something, and I can do something in a time where there's a lot I can't control. The reason why we're meeting today is because we all recognize that there is a lot that is not perfect. There is a lot we can't control. So much so. And faith sustains hope and uncertainty. That's beautiful from Miss Kay. Thank you. Our faith can often nurture our hope. If we try to do something and we have a belief system that says a spiritual world that says that there's some other guiding force, whether it's a belief in God, whether it's a belief in nature, whether it's a belief in people, whether it's a belief in community. When we believe something, it energizes us. It allows us to stick in the hard times, in the very hard times, to trying to achieve our goals. We don't want to abandon our goals. Our goals are what make us us. They are deep inside. They make us human beings. Everybody's worrying about AI. You probably read about it all the time. We are humans, whether we believe in the Almighty God, which is a beautiful thing, whether we believe in people, whether we believe in love. I just was in a gathering with people said that if we have love, it will help us do so much. And I was really moved by it because there's so much hate. and we want love, right? So there are so many things that give us a sense of agency, and we need to remember them and we need to draw upon them. And one of the things I'll say is that in our life, we've all traveled. None of you are little children. You've all had moments in your life where you've struggled through things, and I would imagine you can remember what helped you there. What was the thing that gave you a sense of agency? Who was rooting for you? What was boosting you? Who was helping you move along? So this is a model. It's a very simple, 3 simple things: goals, which are based on our values and they're realistic; pathways, which is the little steps we take, recognizing that there are obstacles and trying to figure out the way to overcome those obstacles; and then this deep sense of what is going to help us move us along, the agency to do it. And when we have all these 3 happening, and it's not so easy, we need to take some time and think about it. I encourage you after this session to think about it. But when you start doing this, you begin to feel hopeful. It changes the way we experience even the darkest situations, even the most difficult and seemingly unmanageable situations become manageable because of where we feel our sense of agency, where we feel our sense of our ability to impact. I'm a person who's used to thinking positively, say no matter how much pressure there is around. And this is all positive thinking. I want to say, this is an important comment because this whole model came from the world of positive psychology, which was a world that said people have strengths and people have resources, and let's recognize that. Let's remember that we have a lot of power in our humanism. Okay? So when we take this model, and if you want to, even on the screen, maybe we can give a link, but also the barcode that we can send also. There's actually a digital app, and most of you I know have smartphones, that can help you practice this model. And it's you register, it's free, it's confidential. Why did we develop this smartphone app? Because when you learn something, you have to practice, right? You learn how to do anything. You have to do it many times until you get better at it. The hope model is a way of thinking. I have goals in my life. I wake up in the morning. What's a goal? Well, how do I get there? Well, how do I manage? How do I think about the obstacles along the way? And what sense gives me a sense of agency? And if you enter this app, and we only have, a little less than 10 minutes, so we're not going to go through it all, but it will guide you on how to do it. It's perfectly free. It's on Apple. It's on Android. And again, we can follow up and send you the link to that. But it will help you, give you clues and tips on how to do it. And we're here to help you through that too. So it's something that's available for you. And we, in our partnership with Mata, we're always happy to give you tools that you can use for forever, not only in your job. So one of the things that we're going to think about now is, what is a hope that I can focus on now? Now, when you leave this session today, what is one thing that can be a goal, that can be a hope that you can focus on now when you leave in the next day or 2? How can you start? We're not so worried about achieving the goal. We want to get there. We want to move towards it. But what can we start now? Thy hope will be safe. Okay, so that's beautiful because there's parts of that we can control and parts of it that we can't control. That's a great example, Megan. So what in the goal of being safe can you control? Think about that. And I'm going to say safe physically and emotionally. Okay? What can you do to be physically safe? And where's the safe place that you can be physically? And what can you do to be emotionally safe, psychologically safe? Okay, adhere to the home front commands. Remind us that this is not the end. That's a very important thing. We're part of a very big story that has a lot to do with agency. A lot of us feel sometimes we're very small in this big world. Every person counts, and we're part of a big story. We're in the story of a person's life. When you do your work, you are intimately involved with a family. How that family travels the journey and how you travel the journey, it's something that will last forever. Will last forever. The work you do impacts on so many lives. It is so important. You can't imagine, but you are not just a moment. You are a person who is impacting on the grandchildren, the family members, everybody. So it's for forever. And that's why the goal that you set now is so important. Whatever you do now will continue. hope for peace and love around the world. So how can we peace? How can we bring peace? Maybe it's just between ourselves, right? Maybe we can't figure out how all these big countries and these leaders are going to figure it out. But what we can do is we can bring love and peace between ourselves. We can create those safe places of love. That's where we can make a difference. And when you wake up in the morning and the person who's in the apartment next door or the family member knows that you're coming with love, it makes a difference. Okay? So when we think about this, there are a lot of things that we can do in a very concrete way. Okay? What can we do for ourselves and our loved ones, given what we've talked about, given what hope is, given the complexity? Okay? So one thing we want to do is, first of all, validate for ourselves and for the people around us that, as I said before, these are normal reactions to a hard situation. It is natural to feel anxiety. It is natural to feel fear. If we didn't feel that, we wouldn't be human beings. We would be the robots, the computers. Okay? So it's natural, and it doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you're human. What we can also do is connect with family and friends. Social connections are proven to help us through hard times. There's research on that. It could be one person, it could be more, even if it means through a telephone connection, even if it means through a WhatsApp connection. Being in connection with family and friends is a hugely important component of our coping. Taking time to talk with the children, if you have children who are far away, if there are children in the family system, making sure you have resources to talk, and we can offer you different ideas about that at another time. Practicing mindfulness, okay? What we just did, the calming activities, okay? All those relaxing activities, these are your tools to use all the time, as much as you can. Taking time to exercise, to cook, whatever gives you a sense of relief, hobbies that you have that you can do in this difficult time, try to find the opportunity to do it. Next slide. Finding your source of strength, as we talked about, it could be with your faith, it could be with your belief system, and what helped you in the past, any other time that you were in a challenge. Trying to hold on to daily routines, that has to do also with sleep. It is very hard. Anytime you can keep on a schedule of any way, eating, especially, not skipping meals, extremely important. If you pray at a particular time of day, try to keep that up. It'll help you. Try to stay away from the news. You can listen to the alerts. Don't listen to the news all day long. It's very unhealthy. It's very unhealthy. It doesn't help us. Having the TV on is very bad when you have news all day. Try to listen to the alerts and be hooked in when you need to, but don't keep watching over and over again. It really hurts our bodies. It really hurts our minds. We're building hope by building on values and goals, as we talked about. We talked about spirituality, and it's very important. And when you feel you can't and something's too much, you have Matav to reach out to. You can seek professional help. Where many resources, there's Natal, there's Iran, there are many hotlines, and I'm sure you're being guided to use those as you can. So you're not alone. That's the most important thing I want to say. You're part of a community. You're part of people who care about you. And every moment that we practice gratitude and connection and what we have and what we can do, that will help us be emotionally safe while we're being physically safe. So every moment we want to be able to say thank you to the things we have. I'm going to just end with a few short slides of just checking in with yourself. What is your degree of tension right now? I could have brought up things that made you feel more tense. Maybe you feel less tense. We want to monitor ourselves. I want you to think about this scale and take it with you in your mind. Check in with yourself once a day. Where am I? How do I feel? Am I more stressed? Am I less stressed? What can I do to take my temperature that way? And we pray for quieter days. We want to be there for one another. We want to always know that we're not alone. And I know with Matav, you have a tremendous support system, and we feel blessed to be part of that. We feel privileged to be part of that. And we hope to see you in better days and better times. God bless. Any questions or comments? We have one more minute if anybody has in the chat.
I want to say thank you so much, Devorah. It was such a really big help. Thank you and keep safe.
Dvora, I just want to emphasize again, because I see it comes up in the chat a few times. I want to repeat the stages when how to look after yourself. So I want to emphasize again, we said it in the beginning, the protocol is that your safety is the most important one. So you always need to make sure that you stay safe and protect yourself. And the stages are that in advance, right now, ask yourself, look around, where is your safe space? Where, if you have mamad in the apartment, in your house, if you have a shelter in the building, if you need to go across the street or to another building, you need to know where is your safe space. Then, of course, you need to know that you can take your patient with you. If your patient doesn't want to come with you, is struggling, is tied to bed, then the stages are that you need to put him in the safest room or safest spot in the house, in between two walls, not next to a window or doors, and run to protect yourself. Go to a shelter, to anywhere that is your safe space that you know in advance. Okay, so again, I'm emphasize it. Those are the instructions, and please follow them and look after yourself. It's very important. And if you have any struggling with the family members or your patients, so we here in Matab are here for you. Ravit is here. We'll stay for a few minutes. If you like to leave your phone number, if you want to contact us, we are always available. So yeah, so please stay safe, and hopefully it'll be over soon.
Thank you so much.
We hope so.
Thank you, Dvora.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Matab.
much.
Padala
All
Thank you
right.
very
Uh,
much,
keep safe.
Matab.
God
Stay
bless.
safe.
Thank you very
God
much.
bless.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Hi, have a good
Have a
day.
good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good
So,
and
thank
it's
you.
very interesting and it's very
Thank you, ma'am, for your
discussion.
And
very important
Bye.
information to us. Thank you very much.
have a good time. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you all.
Take care of yourselves emotionally.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
דבורה,
much.
מיכל, תודה רבה.
תודה
תודה
רבה,
רבה.
מאיה. ואנחנו נדבר, נראה מה עוד יהיה. אוקיי?
כן.
תשמרו גם אתם על עצמכם.
Really.
לא פחות חשוב.
We're all in it together.
Again, we are still here if anyone wants to leave the phone number or contact or ask something. You can leave it on the chat.
Michal, do you save the chats?
Yeah, I'm on the chat as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna sign
Yeah.
off.
Thank
Me
you,
too.
Dvora.
יאללה.
Happy to talk at any
ביי.
time, though. We can follow up. Great.
יאללה. ביי.
Bye.
ביי.
ביי, תודה. תודה רבה.
טוב, אני רואה שאין...
כן, לא, גם רשמתי להם את הטלפון שלי בצ'אט, והיא רשמה לי את הטלפון של העובדת, עכשיו אני אתקשר אליה.
ראיתי, סבבה. טוב, תודה רבית, שיש...
בכיף, תודה לך.
שקט.
המשך יום טוב, שקט.
כן. יאללה,
ביי,
ביי.
להתראות.
אני סוגרת.